Jewish Interactive is a truly innovative non-profit organization that creates interactive, web-based Jewish multimedia programs with the sole aim of ensuring that Jewish learning is once again relevant, fun, and engaging. Let us simply say that it is undoubtedly the future of Jewish education.
I am thrilled to be part of this very special dinner here this evening and to identify very enthusiastically with the Jewish Interactive Initiative. I was privileged to witness at first hand the educational, gifted teaching ability of Hannah Kanzen when she started the Kodesh department at Morashah Jewish Primary School, as it was known then. And the time came when Hannah informed us that she was going to be leaving Morashah. This was a sad day for us. And I don't think that Hannah herself at the time realized what her journey beyond Morashah would be taking her to. Collaborating with others around the world, she has been, together with a fantastic team, instrumental in bringing us to tonight's celebratory event. Now, when the Torah presents us with its concluding mitzvah, which is to write a Sefer Torah, the words are, Ve'ata kitvu lachem et hashira hazot ve'lamda et bnei Yisrael sima befihem. And now you should write this song, teach it to the children of Israel, place it in their mouths. From here we learn that every person should write a Sefer Torah at least once in his life. And as we are familiar with the practice, if you write just one letter, it's attributed to you as if you have written a whole Sefer. But notice the wording in this mitzvah. Ve'ata kitvu lachem et hashira hazot. The Torah is called a shira, a song, a melody with a connotation of happiness and joy. If we're going to be successful in conveying the principles and values of our faith through to the generations to come, Yiddishkeit must be filled with fun and joy. It must be a veritable shira. And that is exactly the type of experience that Jewish Interactive provides for children. And through viewing various videos about Jewish Interactive, the key terms that children and teachers use with regard to this initiative are happiness, joy, fun, and excitement. Note as well that this mitzvah goes on to say, Sima befihem, place it in their mouths. A surprising statement. I might have thought that we should place Torah in the hearts of our children, or perhaps their minds. But why Sima befihem? Place it in their mouths. Rabbi Eliyahu Dezler, in his book Michtav Me'Eliyahu, explains in the following way. He says that when you are feeding an infant, and the infant might not be that ready or excited about the prospect of taking that food, the best way to feed the infant is to create an exciting experience. So take the food around and round, let's say, in the form of a helicopter or a motor car, whatever it might be. The infant will open his or her mouth, and then you put the food in the mouth. Now, that's as far as you should go. Once you've got the food in the infant's mouth, you've succeeded in your task. You shouldn't then try to push the food down the infant's throat. And if you do try to do that, then excuse me, the infant will reject it. So too, says Rav Dezler, when it comes to Torah knowledge, Sima befihem, we have to make the learning experience an exciting, fun-filled one, so that our children will open their mouths with anticipation. We must place Torah in their mouths, but we should never push it down the throats of our children, because if that happens, Khalila, they will reject it. They need to imbibe it in an enthusiastic and fun-filled way in order to internalize our values and to make them an intrinsic part of their existence. And again, that is exactly what Jewish Interactive is achieving through the exploration of studies and also the up-to-date, sophisticated methodology that is used through the screens that are in front of the children. I wonder if you've thought about the two key terms we give to periods of time. They are Shana and Chodesh, the Hebrew terms for year and month. And actually, they're opposites. Shana comes from the root shanan or shinun, which means repetition, as we have in the Shema, v'shinantam levanecha. The alliteration of the nun signifies that repetitive cycle. And as far as v'shinantam is concerned, the Torah wants to convey to us teaching by rote, repeating the information so that you can drum it into the mind of the recipient. So Shana, therefore, is a year through which everything is repeated, year in and year out, the same seasons, the same festivals. It's all the same, year after year. That's a Shana. Chodesh, however, is something very different. Chodesh comes from the term chadash, that which is new. And of course, it is taken from the appearance of the new moon, fresh orbs of light as the month commences. And therefore, Chodesh is a symbol of creativity, of renewal. So therefore, within a year within which everything is the same, there is an opportunity for renewal, to create something, to have a fresh start. And I believe that that is a true reflection of how we need to educate our children. First of all, we are blessed to have Jewish tradition, our Torah. This is the Shana. Baruch Hashem. Torah law, the 613 commandments given by God to Moses at Mount Sinai, are as relevant and applicable today as they always were. We have timeless and timely instructions. Torah never changes. Lo tasif alav v'lo tigra mimenu, says the Torah. We don't add to it and we don't subtract from it. Like the year, it stays the same. But within our life of Torah study and presentation, there are fresh opportunities for the methodology we use in order to convey this information. So if you would bring the star Cheder teacher from 50 years ago and place him or her in front of a group of school children today, I guarantee you that that lesson will be an abysmal failure. Because children have changed, times have changed, attitudes have changed, aptitudes have changed. We're living in a fresh, new world. We have to have up-to-date, relevant forms through which we can convey the beauty of our tradition to our children. We must have that element of chidush, because today we are competing with the most sophisticated creative methods which are being used within the lives of our children at the press of a button. And if we're going to succeed in conveying our tradition successfully to them, we have to match those methods. Last week I had the privilege of leading a group of 48 rabbis from the UK to Israel. We had 4 magnificent days in Israel. And one of the places we visited was the settlement of Eli in Shomron, which is alongside the settlement of Shiloh. Now, of course, Shiloh was the place where the Mishkan stood, the tabernacle before it was brought to Jerusalem, and where it became the first temple. And Eli is named after Eli the high priest, who served in the Mishkan in Shiloh. And I recalled that wonderful epic tale of how Hannah arrived at the sanctuary in Shiloh, and she was davening for the blessing of a child. And she had such intense kavanah that Eli the high priest thought that she was drunk. And he instructed her and he said, "Why don't you put your strong drink away from you? It's inappropriate for you in the house of God to be appearing in this fashion." He actually misread what took place. Now, what led to this total misunderstanding? You see, the high priest used to wear a choshen, a breastplate. And on the breastplate there were 12 glistening stones, and beneath these stones you had the names of the tribe. Each stone represented a particular tribe. And within all the names of the tribe, that lettering, we have representatives of all 22 Hebrew letters. So when the high priest wanted guidance from God, he would pray to God, and God would give him an answer through the letters of the choshen. They would light up, and he would be able to read words. So on this occasion, he saw this phenomenon of a woman there in what appeared to him to be an inappropriate state in the house of God, and he turned to God for advice, and 4 letters came up. Shin, Kaf, Resh, Hey, and he didn't know in which way to read these letters. and he came up with the word shikora, the lady who is drunk. But actually what God had intended him to read was keshera, the fit one, the kosher one, or as some say, kisara, like Sarah who prayed to God for a child. So you see, within the Choshen, we had what is called the Urim and the Tumim. The Urim were the lights. The Tumim was the interpretation of the lights. Eli could see the Urim, however, the Tumim was elusive. He misread those lights. If one was to look for a biblical example, the closest thing in our Torah tradition to a modern-day tablet, it would be the tablet of the Choshen. And on the Choshen, you had those icons. And beneath each icon, beneath each glistening stone, you had lettering. And therefore, the Urim and the Tumim within the Choshen of the Kohen Gadol was a spectacular visual image through which God conveyed information and education and guidance and direction to our people. Now, it's important to have both the Urim and the Tumim, to see what is in front of you and also to have a proper appreciation of it, an appropriate interpretation of it. Through Jewish Interactive, Baruch Hashem, hundreds if not thousands of our children will have both the Urim and the Tumim, with the tablets in front of them and with the glistening images which are so wonderfully appealing. They'll have those images, the Urim, and thanks to the advice and the education that is given, they will also have the appropriate Tumim, an interpretation of it, guidance of it with regard to Jewish halakha, Jewish tradition, Jewish concepts, in a way that appeals to them with their minds that have been cultivated through 21st century living. And as a result, I would like to congratulate Jewish Interactive for everything that you've started to do, and please God, that you will do. To Chana and your team, kol hakavod. I think it's absolutely magnificent what you have done. You have become a world leader in this key area of Jewish education, and I would like to shower upon you my own personal blessings and very best wishes in this initiative, through which, please God, you will place Torah in the mouths of thousands of our children so that they can internalize our values successfully, so that you will provide that element of chidush, of wonderful, sophisticated, modern creativity within the context of our eternal, timeless values, and in order that you will bring our tradition alive, providing the wonderful Urim and Tumim for Jewish children for a long, long time to come. May God bless you all.